We've all been there, and I'm going to share with you my worst experience ever. Like, it's really, really bad. Hello, and thank you for joining me again. This is a part of my 30-day series on business tips for intimate event planners just like you. So if you have a luxury picnic business, a hotel room decorating business, or any other intimate planning business, you are in the right place. And if this content has been helpful for you, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so today is a little tough, because on social media we want to create this persona that we have it all together, right? And that everything is perfect in our lives and our business and our fashion, and just everything is just perfect. But we know that we live in the real world and everything is not always perfect. We are an intimate event planning company. We decorate hotel rooms for birthdays, anniversaries, you name it. When I first started room decorating, I was very blessed to have, some posts on TikTok and Instagram that went really viral, like 20 million views viral. And it was a very exciting time for my company, because I was testing out this idea of, could I go full-time into room decorating? So this was at the very beginning of our hotel room journey. I received a message, hey, I love what you do. I would love to book with you. And I was so excited because I saw this person's numbers on social media, and I just was like, this is going to be an even bigger, opportunity to grow our business. So I really wanted to impress this customer. So, I went and I started drawing out everything that I wanted to do in the room. Started purchasing everything that I thought that needed to be in the room. I didn't want to spare anything. I just wanted to make sure that it was perfect. This was the first time someone booked my VIP package, and when I received that booking, I created that package with the thoughts that no one would probably book it because it was so much more expensive than my other packages. So in the midst of me getting everything together, the customer reaches out to me and says, look, I have a very flexible budget. So if you need some more money or you want to add something else onto it, I have no problem with that. I just want to make sure it's perfect. And I'm like, this had never happened before. So the day comes and it's time to decorate the room. I made sure I had a lot of help, prepared as much as I could before I arrived to the hotel, and we're going in. So we get in the hotel, and usually what happens when someone books with us is that we go to the front desk and they've made arrangements and said, Cherie with Luxvents will be coming in to decorate for me today. I'll hand them my ID, and then they hand me a key, and then I go and decorate the room. And not this day. I went into the hotel, gave them my information, and the young lady at the front desk says, I don't see anything. So the clock is always ticking, right? I tell my customers, this room will take me an hour to decorate, or this room will take me 2 hours. And I have given this customer a particular timeline. When I found out that they didn't have any record of me, and I'm like, are you sure? They're like, I don't have nothing. Next. I called up my customer. I said, look, we can't get into the room. We can't start our time now because they said they don't have any record. Customer said, I told them, and they know what's going on. And this particular customer was accustomed to a certain type of treatment, and they were just like, handle it. So that's what I did. I went over to the concierge. I said, look, you got to get me in this room. Your guest is expecting for me to have this room decorated when they return for their anniversary. Front desk is saying they have no clue. I need you to figure this out or your guest is going to be upset. Concierge goes over, and lo and behold, they find the information, but 30 minutes is gone at this time. Okay, I have help. let's just move as quick as we can. This hotel in Miami is huge, and there are different towers, and it's just not something that you just walk to the elevator and you're there. So we started decorating, and you know, everything is going pretty good. This particular hotel room has a split level, so I have someone working downstairs, someone working on the stairs, and I'm working in the bedroom. Since I was in a rush, and this was at a time when we used to glue roses to the ceilings, I don't do that anymore. Mainly because I felt like I had enough of it, and also because, you know, I prefer to use helium now, so I make sure I have balloons big enough that will hold the roses. But at this time, those hanging balloons stuck to the ceiling was really popular, and because I was running behind on time, I did the worst thing ever, the thing that I warn everyone when they put balloons on the ceiling. I didn't test the ceiling. And this hotel suite was right on the beach, so there's a lot of sand, there's a lot of, you know, sand or salt in the air, I meant to say, and you know, the paint can be fragile. So I didn't test this balloon rose system. I just started sticking them to the ceiling because my time was limited. Okay, so like midway throughout decorating the room, I started getting messages from this customer. We're tired, we're ready to come back to the room. Are you almost done? The answer was no. But I wanted to reassure the customer that, you know, we're working as quickly as possible. I'll message you as soon as we're done. So we're rushing. Not too long after that, I got another message saying, we're tired and my phone is about to die, so you won't be able to message me when the room is ready. Mind you, the time that I had given the customer that the room would be done, we weren't past that time yet. So I told the customer, you know, we agreed to this amount of time, we're not there yet, and we also had some delays at the front desk. Customer proceeds to tell me, you know, I need it done by this time. And then the customer's assistant started to reach out to me. How can I work if you keep calling me? I mean, that's what was going through my mind. You know, I just was trying to get it done, and it was just really, really nerve-wracking. We're going to have to wrap this up. There are a few things that, you know, I planned on doing that we're going to have to skip. The main elements are here, so we're gonna have to start cleaning this up and putting this away. Now, this was a massive room, 2 stories, a jacuzzi outside of the room. It was intense. The assistant calls me and says, customer is on the way. And I was like, oh, and we still had so much to put away and kind of do my final touches, and we're just rushing. So we run out of the room, and like I said, there's this long hallway, and you know, there are a couple towers in this particular hotel, and I spotted what appeared to be my client, even though I'd never met the client in person before. This is like based on what I saw on social media. So I told my crew, let's go this way, because you know, I don't want to give away anything, and we have all this stuff like coming from these private suites, and it's going to be kind of obvious that we may have been coming from their room. We find a janitor's closet and check it to see if it's locked. It wasn't, and we went inside of the closet. So while they're coming down the hall, I go inside the closet. It's unlocked, and I told, you know, my assistant, stay out here and let me just make sure we can get out when we're done. So I went inside, opened it from the inside again, so we just put everything in the room, and we went inside of the janitor's closet at this hotel. Luckily, there's a window, and we can kind of look out to see what's going on outside of the closet. And that was my customer. They go inside of the room, we walk out of the janitor's closet. That was like an employee looking at us like, what in the, like we weren't stealing anything. We just did a room for one of your guests, and we didn't want to give away the surprise. Everybody laughed and ha, and we left. But it gets worse. And why am I doing this video? Let me just stop really quick. And if you appreciate this transparency, please like this video because this is tough. I've never really put this out there like this, only once for my masterclass students. So there were times where we would put things into the room that we needed to pick up the next day. And since this was a VIP setup, we offer next day cleanup for our VIPs. So the next day in the evening, we returned to clear out all the decorations and take back our items that we put into the room. So I went upstairs to remove the balloons and the roses that were hanging above their bed. I proceeded to take one down, and I brought some of the ceiling down with me. I freaked out. You know, there's like this circle of paint like this that came down, like this size right here. So I need to take about 20 more down. And so I started to take them down. Some of them, everything just came down fine. But about half, I took down this much paint off the ceiling, and it was obvious. If you could just imagine, because I know my customers are returning to see the ceiling damage. I've played everything in my mind, and they're going to be wondering, well, I have to pay for this, and you know, why didn't this company know this would happen? It was terrifying. And I'm trying to, you know, assess like, how can I handle this? So I immediately just started to take pictures because I knew that I had to own up for this. And my husband was with me. He's like, you know, hey, this is what you have insurance for. So we cleared out everything from the room, and I headed down to the front desk. So I asked to speak to a manager. I sat there and I waited for the manager, and it was the longest wait of my life because I'm playing in my mind, what am I going to say? How am I going to handle it? The main thing that was on my mind was making sure that my customer was not held liable for anything, and that, you know, I take full responsibility. So she comes out, hi, how are you? I basically just let her know everything that happened. I showed her a picture of, you know, the damage, and it just really hurt that this is the way that I had to introduce my company to this prestigious hotel in Miami. Luckily for me, this particular manager was so nice, and she said to me, look, don't worry about anything. I'll send maintenance over and have them to repaint the ceiling. And I was like, okay, well, can I put a credit card on file, you know, in case you want to reach me in the future? She said not necessary. I really considered myself very blessed, very lucky in that moment, because I know that that could have gone completely different. But wait, it gets worse. And I know you're like, how in the hell is this gonna get worse? But it does. So I get home and I'm just like mentally just done. And the customer sends me a message and says, you left your license in the room. So they left the license at the front desk for me. I picked it up, I think like 2 or 3 days later. I just couldn't go back at that time. But what a humbling experience this was. I think that I went in like, you know, we're TikTok famous and we, you know, we got this, and it's, you know, nothing. And I was humbled in that moment. If you've never been humbled before, a lot of things in my business changed drastically as a result of that horrible day. Now, I contacted the customer also just to see, you know, hey, did you all enjoy it? And the customer was like, you know, yeah, we took pictures, you know, and everything. But in my mind, I knew what I didn't do. But luckily, the customer still enjoyed the decorations. Business will humble you. You will feel like you have it all together and nothing can go wrong, and that day comes. Now, my hope and my prayer for you is that you never feel how I felt that day. But I will tell you this, a lot changed during that very humbling experience. Okay, for instance, I am hard fast on the time that it takes to decorate the room. I don't let anyone rush me anymore. I don't care how much you paid, because what I'm putting out, it has to reflect my standards. It has to reflect my style. So I don't let anyone rush me anymore. My time is my time. That I'm putting my name on that room. Another thing that's changed with the way that I decorate rooms is that I try not to attach things to the ceiling, to the wall as much. And if I do, I'm going to test that out. I mean, like, I have PTSD over that. I'm going to make sure that if I put this here and I take it off, everything is going to be okay. I want you to know that there will be ups and downs, but we made it through, and you can too. There were moments, I am not going to lie to you, that I was like, I just don't know if I want to. I was that upset. I just don't know if I want to do this anymore. But thankfully, I pushed through, and I want you to do the same. Luckily, we've had other VIP customers since that scary day, but I will never, ever, ever forget that experience. So I'm gonna leave you like I always do. Life is a collection of moments that deserve to be celebrated. So get out and do just that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you next time.